Most couples aren't fighting about money, they're fighting about what money means, and nobody ever taught them how to say that out loud. You know the fight. It might start over a dinner bill, a subscription, a vacation, a savings rate, a random Amazon box, a credit card statement, a career decision. And within about 90 seconds, it's not about that anymore. It's tone, it's history, it's the way your shoulders tighten when you hear a certain number. It's the sense the other person doesn't get it. You both walk away thinking the same thing. We keep having this fight and nothing ever changes. I want to talk about why. Because there's a conversation most couples never actually have, the one underneath the money fight. And until you have it, the spreadsheet won't save you. So, what is the money conversation most couples never have? Most couples talk about money at the level of behavior. Who spent what? Who saved what? Who's being responsible? Who's being reckless? Who's too tight? Who's too loose? That's the surface conversation. The conversation most couples never have is one level down. It's the conversation about what money actually means to each of you, what it represents, what it protects, what it threatens, what you're each trying to build, and what you're each quietly afraid of. Money is never just money. It's safety, it's freedom, it's status, it's love, it's proof, it's control, and it's comfort. It's a time machine, a way to undo something from the past or preempt something from the future. Two people can look at the same bank balance and feel two completely different things. One person sees a cushion, the other sees a countdown. Until you understand what money means to your partner and to you, you're not really arguing about money. You're arguing about meaning with dollar signs attached. So, why do couples fight about money so easily? Well, money is one of the most emotionally loaded topics in a relationship, and there's a reason for it. Money touches almost everything a couple has to decide together: where to live, how hard to work, how much to rest, when to have kids, whether to take a risk, what to say yes to, what to say no to, what future you're both walking toward. So, any conversation about money is secretly a conversation about the shape of your life. That's a lot of pressure for one Tuesday discussion about groceries. There's also this: money sits on top of your nervous system. For some people, spending feels like ease, reward, normal adult life, a fair exchange. For others, the same spending feels like danger, waste, instability, evidence things are slipping. Neither reaction is crazy, but both are learned. And when two nervous systems meet across the dinner table with different wiring, what you get is not a disagreement about a number. You get one partner feeling judged and one partner feeling unsafe, both at the same time. That's why money fights escalate so fast. You're not just negotiating a budget, you're negotiating two different emotional realities. So, what's actually sitting underneath money conflict in relationships? Well, underneath most money conflict, you'll usually find some combination of a few things: fear. What am I afraid will happen if we keep living this way? Security. Do I feel safe in this relationship, in this life, in this economy? Control. Do I have any say in how this goes? Does my voice count? Freedom. Am I allowed to enjoy my life, or am I supposed to earn my existence every single day? Identity. Does this spending reflect who I am, who I was, who I don't want to become? Fairness. Are we actually sharing this, or am I carrying something that isn't mine? When a couple is fighting about a purchase, they're often really fighting about one of those, sometimes more than one. That's why just make a budget advice so often falls flat. A budget can absolutely reduce stress. It can bring clarity and lower the temperature, but a budget can't resolve a meaning problem. If the deeper layer stays unspoken, the budget just becomes a new battleground, a place where the same old conflict wears a new outfit. Most couples don't need a better spreadsheet. They need a better conversation under the spreadsheet. How do different money scripts show up between partners? Well, we all carry what researchers and therapists call money script, unconscious beliefs about money that we picked up long before we ever had a paycheck. They come from family, from class background, from culture, from watching what happened when the money was tight or when it wasn't, from what your parents said about money and from what they did instead of saying it. Some of the most common ones look like this: money's never enough. If you don't protect it, it'll disappear. That person saves hard, plans hard, and can feel genuine panic on spending, even spending they can afford. Money's meant to be enjoyed. If you don't use it, what's the point? That person tends to live well now, values experience, and can feel suffocated by excessive restriction. Money is dangerous. Talking about it causes conflict. That person tends to avoid the conversation entirely, which often reads their other partner as secrecy or irresponsibility. Money is proof that I'm okay, that I made it, that I'm not who I used to be. That person may spend in ways that look irrational from the outside, but make perfect emotional sense from the inside. Money is a fairness test. If I'm carrying more, I'm being taken advantage of. That person tracks contributions closely and gets quietly resentful when the math feels off. Most of us carry a blend of these, not just one. And here's the important part. When two partners with different money scripts collide, they don't just disagree. They genuinely can't see each other's reality. One partner's responsible is the other partner's restrictive. One partner's normal spending is the other partner's threat. One partner's planning for the future is the other partner's refusing to live. One partner's enjoying our life is the other partner's setting us up to fail. Both of them are telling the truth about their experience. That's what makes it so hard. Neither of them is being dramatic. They're just operating from different maps of what money is for. What does a healthier version of this conversation sound like? A healthier money conversation doesn't start with numbers. It starts with curiosity. Here's an example of a healthy opener. Something that an actual human could say out loud without it feeling like a TED Talk. I don't want to have the same fight again. Can we try something different? I want to understand what money actually means to you, not what you spend, but what you're trying to protect. I'll go first if it helps. That sentence does something important. It takes the fight off the table and puts the relationship back on it. From there, the conversation isn't about who's right. It's about what each of you is carrying. You might ask each other things like, what did money feel like in your house growing up? What's your worst case financial fear? The thing that quietly you hope never happens. What does enough look like to you? Not rich, not comfortable, enough. When do you feel most financially safe? When do you feel most financially trapped? What do you actually want our life to look like in 5 years, in 20 years? What are we funding together, not monthly, but as a shared life? These aren't soft questions. These are the questions that run underneath every single line item you'll ever argue about. You don't have to answer all of them in one night. You probably shouldn't. One good, honest version of this conversation can shift more than 10 budget meetings. What should couples actually try to understand about each other? The goal isn't to become the same person financially. You won't. You shouldn't. The goal is mutual understanding and workable alignment. Close enough that you can build something together. Different enough that you still bring your own wisdom to it. A few things worth understanding about each other. What feels like safety to your partner? Not what should feel like safety. What actually does. What feels like freedom to your partner? Some people feel free when there's margin. Some people feel free when there's motion. Not the same thing. What enough means to each of you. Many couples have never defined this and then spend decades chasing a target nobody named. What each of you is quietly afraid of. Running out, being controlled, being trapped, being seen as a failure, missing your life, being dependent. Which disagreements are practical and which are symbolic? Sometimes it really is about the dishwasher. Sometimes the dishwasher is just where the bigger thing finally showed up. What kind of life you're both trying to build? Not the categories on the budget, the life. Couples don't usually align in one conversation. They align through many lower temperature versions of the same conversation over time. That's the actual work. Clarity is kinder than repeated surface conflict. And if there's anything in your relationship that involves financial coercion, fear, or control, that's a different conversation and it deserves a different kind of support than a video or budget can ever offer. If that's where you are, please talk to someone qualified to help. Most couples are not failing at money. They're just stuck in the wrong layer of the conversation. The fight about the credit card is real, but it's rarely the real fight. Underneath it is a quieter, more honest conversation about fear, values, safety, freedom, identity, and the life you're trying to build together. You don't have to agree on everything. You have to understand each other enough to build something neither of you is quietly resenting. You don't win a money argument. You outgrow it.